So I wanted to rap a little bit about a few of the things that I've been seeing going on in the parkour community, and if this relates to you and a community that you participate in, then I hope that it provides some form of guidance and maybe just some good vibes, good advice. I don't know, take it or leave it. It don't really matter. I'm just on here to express my opinion a little bit, but you know, I got some homies right now in the parkour game who are beefing about, some like old school versus new school kind of stuff. And, like I could see where they're both coming from. But the thing I want to talk about isn't necessarily like that. It's more so like that these things keep happening. And like, I know that they're not necessarily going to stop happening per se. Like, I know that they're definitely gonna keep going on. People are always gonna have issues with each other and all that stuff, but people are gonna differ on their like philosophies and like their meanings for why they do this, you know what I mean? And this is the kind of thing that I think is a little bit more important, as I can recall from my experience as, a really young athlete who was around a crowd that was not going in the same direction as me. You know what I mean? They were not going, the way that I was trying to go with the movement and with the philosophy behind it and so on and so forth. And, I remember that caused static between us. And I was younger and I'm looking up to them and I'm like, y'all are supposed to be the ones like showing me the way. And right now I feel like you're showing me like the wrong way, like the way not to go, you know what I mean? Or at least maybe just the way not to go for myself. And I think that it was odd just because, we differed on the philosophy or meaning and reason for practice or style of practice. And that should not have resulted in static. It should have resulted in them as my elders, as I see it, like they didn't, I don't know, they didn't know what they didn't know. I don't know what their intentions exactly were, and everybody's not always great at expressing their intentions, even if they're like met with positivity. And sometimes like people like we just are not good at receiving the positive intention of the actions that these people take. Sometimes I ain't caping for nobody, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes like it really be like that, and I've been that person who's trying to be like intentionally positive. And like I definitely think I've gone like overboard with that, and in a way where it was maybe more damaging than positive. But I caught it early. And, I never tried to be that way. I've always tried specifically not to be like anti, like, well, what do you think? What do you see? How do you interpret this? Like, I've always tried not to be combative. I will push back against certain things that I don't believe in, like the parkour free running debate. Like, man, I'll shut that shit down every time, guys. That's not a thing. There's not there. We are doing the same sport, and if you were around especially when it first got into America, when I was around, like you know that it was never intended to be something separate. It was only intended to be like maybe a separate interpretation at best of the same exact thing. But like, no, parkour is not fastest way from point A to point B, and free running is parkour with flips. That's not what it is. Like, there's multiple like philosophies behind the guys that originated this and gave it to us in the way that we do it today. And I honestly think that your interpretation is just valid as long as you are interacting with your obstacles, your body and the obstacles. You're doing parkour, all right? Like, if you feel like you are, if you understand it to be, if you're pogo sticking through a place like and calling it parkour, you can call it parpogo, but it's not parkour. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're outside just tumbling, well, you're not doing parkour. But like, if you're outside like tumbling like over stuff, I mean, damn, that's kind of parkour to me. It's a really acrobatic type of parkour, I think. But yeah, like when I was younger, I was around guys that I think should have been better influences and better guides. And, I did get some really good game from some of them. And, Gabe Nunez, shout out Gabe Nunez. That's somebody who gave me some of the best advice like that I ever got really early when I was 19. I mean, he gave me good advice when I was like 15, but like he really gave me like some direction type advice when I was 19. And like we had a few differences, like beyond that moment, and like we're all good in the hood today. Like me and bro are solid. Love the guy, but yeah, like there was a time where it was like, man, you're just not telling me the right stuff. Like you're not leading me in the right direction. And I understand it's because we're different and we have different viewpoints on stuff and different ways that we want to pursue and train, and different styles and that we like and that we each want to do and exhibit. Like I get it, like we can be different, but I think like what I should have gotten from everybody else that was around, like some of his peers, not him in particular. He was as great as I think he was able to be at the time, but like some of his like partners, it would have been better to have had a better experience from them. And y'all, I just feel like you can have a different philosophy or a different opinion on like what parkour should be or how people should practice or whatever the case, but you gotta like keep that. You don't have to keep it to yourself so much as you don't share it with people, but you gotta keep it to yourself, as in you shouldn't be trying to force it on people like it's a religion. Like that's not cool. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason to be trying to force philosophy on people. Instead of trying to force it and saying that they're wrong and that you're right, like what you could do is you could just be such a great living example of your philosophy. And real deal, that should inspire them. That should inspire them to want to take some of what you got and mix it into what they got, where they're going, what they're doing. And like why this is so hard, I don't know. I feel like people need to like feel validated in their beliefs instead of validating themselves and their beliefs through their own practice. You know what I mean? And I also feel like, sometimes, and I'm talking to my young ones when I say this, all right? I'm talking to like my like under 25s, and over 25s. How about that? But my under 25s, like let me tell you guys something. Sometimes somebody like older than you and more experienced than you is going to give you some game, and you might not want to listen because it doesn't sound right to you. But let me tell you something that is going to be good for you that I learned after years of like, fortunately I paid really close attention even to the people that said like the most wrong stuff to me. Like somebody who used to be my hero told me when I was younger, like that I don't have style. I have no style. And that everything that I do is easy, and that like everybody that he knows could repeat what I'm doing. Like nigga told me that, and I was like, boy, you are crazy. You know what I mean? But like what that did for me, I listened to that. Just like I listened to Gabe, when he gave me good advice. I listened, I remembered, I cataloged. And what I continued to do is, Gabe gave me some good advice one time, and this actually helped me deal with this problem that I had with one of the people in like the circle around both of us at that time. Gabe said, man, somebody can give you bad advice. Like I could be giving you bad advice right now. You could just be like, okay, and like take that with a grain of salt. Like, don't say it out loud. Just say like, all right, yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for that. Like, I didn't see it that way. Thank you for that. He told me that, and he said that doesn't mean that you necessarily fuck with what they're saying, but it could mean that you are like, respectfully accepting like their perspective, and then you could just go on about your day and keep your own perspective and not even like pay it any mind. Or you could listen to it and think about it, and maybe it might help you later down the line. And like that was helpful for me. So yeah, when dude told me I ain't had no style, I was like, all right, dog, like, I don't feel that way. I definitely feel like I have my own style. I think I got my own thing going, but if you don't see it, dog, you don't see it. And that's your prerogative. I'm not gonna fight with you over it. But I remembered it, and I did like pay attention to like myself more and less. For a while, I was kind of trying to like just get the skills that I knew were gonna like shut that kind of energy down. But realistically, I got into my bag a little bit, like here and there, and I started to see like what was special about me. Unfortunately, I had good homies in my circle, like my boy Garrett. you know what I mean, who has always been like a big champion of me and my style. Like, you know, Garrett was like the first person to ever tell me that I'm the best. You know what I mean? Like, like he's the first person to ever tell me that I'm the greatest in the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, you don't gotta believe that if you don't think I am. Like, don't worry, I ain't tripping if you don't think I am. Like, it's totally fine. Some people think I am, some people don't. I'm not tripping. I'm just out here doing my damn thing, you know? But Garrett was the first person, like, really that I can remember to tell me, like, you're the best. Like, Lucy Romberg once told me, she's like, you know, I went to a competition with Santorini one time for Red Bull Art of Motion way too early after my knee injury in 2014 at an APC. But yeah, like Lucy Romberg said, you're just as good as any of these guys in here, if not better. And I was like, damn. Like, and Dom was there, and Eric Mukomeshin was there, and a whole bunch of other really like crack dudes were there, and it was a bad showing from me, but I remembered what Lucy said, and I held on to it, and that was some good advice because she saw something in me that I didn't see, and the homie Garrett saw something in me that I didn't fully see. I was just out here chasing my internal vision, you know. I was just trying to do my thing, and yeah, you know, like. I kept it in my mind that, like, you don't got no style, like, you don't have any style, like, you know, what you do is easy, what you do is weak, and I kept that going, and, you know, like, I mean, I don't know how many competitions I won, how many podiums I took, like, you know what I mean, like, I don't know, but I feel like I was out there, like, doing my thing, like, my way, you know what I mean, and I couldn't hear that, but listening to that, just hearing that at all, it drove me a lot to find my voice in the movement, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying, like, you know, to some of you young ones that are out there, like, I'm not telling you that you don't want to stand up for yourself and what you believe in and all that stuff. I'm not telling you that. I'm just saying, like, keep your ears open, keep your mind open, keep your eyes open, because somebody might tell you something that might wake you up to, like, paying closer attention to yourself. You know, how you're doing yourself, like how you're treating yourself, how you're training yourself, you know, like how you're respecting yourself and all that. And that could be valuable. And sometimes, you know, sometimes you hear something from somebody that has been in the game that you're in for a little longer than you, and they tell you something that, like, you could take that, you could be like, even if you disagree with, like, the most of the message, you could maybe even find a part of the message where you're like, okay, no, but that part of the message hits. All that other shit was bullshit, but this part of the message, like, homie was trying to lay on me, like, that part hits, and I could use that part for my betterment, for my improvement. So, you know, like, I think that we should be a community out here and just be spending time, like, trying to help each other. That's why I always, like, with all the younger people, like, I'm on this job right now with some of my old students, actually, and a bunch of like younger talent out there, and I'm telling them the game. I'm just giving them the game. I'm telling them stuff that's valuable for them to know, valuable for them to practice themselves and to practice, like, with each other. You know what I mean? Like, good stuff that I think could really be helpful to them and help them make an even stronger, like, more supportive community, more respectful of the craft and of each other type community. You know, not that it isn't great right now. I think the parkour community is great right now. I think it has its flaws, you know, but, like, you know, every time I'm around people, it's good vibes, it's good conversation, it's good movement. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good time. So you can't experience that and then see some of the bad and think that it's, like, really downhill. It's not. It's really uphill, guys. We are actually doing great. If you were around in 2005, if you were around doing parkour, it didn't look like it looks right now. And there's opportunities today that were never here. So, you know what I mean? And, like, there's just the movement right now, the broad spectrum of movement right now that we have under this umbrella that is parkour, this movement, this craft, y'all. Like, we got some beautiful stuff going on right now out here, and, you know, I'm gonna keep trying to give good game to the game. That's what I'm gonna keep trying to do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna keep trying to help people grow and learn and advance themselves and see themselves more positively, you know, and just chase their dreams. I just want people to have that opportunity. They don't got to take the opportunity, but I just want everybody to, like, feel like, to know, even if they just watch me do it, you know, like, or if they see it in some of these other great people out here dream chasing in the space of parkour, I just want people to see something positive. I want people to see something that they feel like if they did it, I could do it. You know, they did it, like Daryl did it, Wavy did it, I could do it. You know, like I just gotta put in like the time for my craft and the effort to find myself in it. You know, and that's the kind of value that I want to impart. So, you know, I'm not speaking on what the homies are going through between each other right now. Like that's on them, you know, to sort out. But I'm just speaking on the energy that I'm getting from it, you know, and just talking about what it inspires me to talk about. That's it, you know. Just want to give people some good game. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed The Gap. Yeah, I think I said everything I need to say. All right. Love y'all. Respect y'all. Hey, go watch The Dark Knight Returns on my Patreon. If you haven't already, go watch that. I'll drop the link in the bio. Go check that out. That's fly. Support the boy. Support the film. Support the community. All right. All right, y'all. All right. Peace. Love. Westside out of here.